Hi, welcome to the channel. My name is Bobby Codey. New Jersey drone, UFO, or UAP message. Aloha and Synchronicity is the name of this video. It's quite fascinating what happened. I think this happened about 2 weeks ago. I finally decided to do a video about it. It's just, to me, it's absolutely amazing, and I want to share it with you. Hopefully it'll allow people to understand what to expect in the near future as the UFO phenomenon becomes much more apparent and involved in our lives, which is what's going to happen at this point. I'm absolutely 100% convinced, and I'm absolutely 100% convinced that the New Jersey drones, which continue and the mainstream media will not cover it, are UFOs. The evidence of that, to my mind, is abundant, but I'm not going to cover that in this case. I'm going to cover the message that they sent to me, one of the many messages that they sent to me, and it's quite fascinating. So I think it happened about 2 weeks ago. I finally decided to do this video on it. So I was out doing the laundry. These New Jersey drones are in the air above me all the time. It's bizarre, even to the point where two of them cross above me. I've already showed that once. It's called UFOs Crisscross. I did a video about that. That happens to me regularly when I go out. One will fly low, about 400 feet above me, another one about 1,000 feet above me, and they cross each other above me. Bizarre. So, and every time I go out, they're showing up wherever I am. It's just bizarre. So most people say, oh, are you frightened? No, I don't get that. I understand why some people might be frightened, but that's not who I am. I don't fear, for the most part, for myself at least. And that's not the sense that I get with these things. I think there's something much deeper and much more benevolent. So I'm doing my laundry, and as I'm doing my laundry, I'm looking up, waiting for it, and sure enough, one comes, flies right over my head. I'm looking up, and it has a blue underside. The wings cone, the wings and the tail are white, but the underside is blue. And I'm reading it, it has lettering on it. It said Aloha. I'm like, whoa, it's saying Aloha to me. So at that point, I'm like, it's trying to communicate. I've already expressed various ways of trying to communicate. So it's saying Aloha to me, which I know is Hawaiian for hi, etc. So I'm like, let me do a little research and see what Aloha means more deep, because I know it has other deeper meanings. So I'm going to read from Wikipedia real quick, these two things. It says Aloha is a Hawaiian word for love, affection, peace, compassion, and mercy that is commonly used as a greeting. It has a deeper cultural and spiritual significance to Native Hawaiians, for whom the term is used to define a force that holds together existence. Like Star Wars, the Force. Right? Now, when this happened, just a quick aside, I follow Future Forecaster Group, which is a group of remote viewers run by Dick Algeier, who resides in Hawaii. So once it happened, I went on and I commented to Dick Algeier on his YouTube channel. I mentioned, hey, this thing of Aloha happened to me, and just to let you know, because that'll play a part later at the end of this story, that I'm going to involve Dick Algeier. Sorry, Dick, for involving you. He doesn't know me. I don't know him. He has nothing to do with me. I have nothing to do with him, other than I follow his YouTube channel. So give him a little bit of way to disassociate himself from me if he wants to. So I'm like, whoa. So, let me read more. Also says, and this is the part that I was like, oh, wow. The word aloha is hard to translate into any other language because it compromises complex ways of being and of interacting with and loving all of creation. An ethic of care and respect for all people and all elements of the land is wrapped up in aloha. It is a way of showing connection and reverence. Queen Liliuokalani is known to have said, aloha is to learn what is not said, to see what cannot be seen, and to know the unknowable. Another way to interpret aloha is an energy exchange. The giving and receiving of positive energy is the spirit of aloha. As we create positive thoughts and interactions, they ripple out into the world and are merged and multiplied with the actions and energy of others. Aloha has been described as the coordination of the heart and mind to foster connectivity and peace. I would highly suggest people to do a search for heart-brain coherence. That's something that I've been very deeply involved with on a personal level for a couple of years at least now. So at that point, you can see why I don't fear this, even though I've done a New Jersey drone live thing where I showed these things coming at me every few minutes. Here comes another one. Here comes another one. Here comes another one. I mean, a lot of people say, "My gosh, you must be frightened." And no, even before they gave me this message of aloha, there was no fear. It can be a little intimidating at times, but so okay, aloha, whatever. And then a little later on, in the same day, I'm watching again. Here comes another one. Again, I call them drones. They look just like planes, but they're not planes. I know that for a fact for various reasons. They do things planes can't do, including to slow down. Planes would fall out of the sky if they were going this slow. I may do a future video on that. You can look at some of my past videos. The live drone one, you can see some of these are going so slow. So anyway, another one comes, and I'm looking at it. This is like maybe a few minutes, maybe after the aloha. And I'm looking at this plane, and I'm like, I can't believe what I'm seeing. Again, it's low enough that I could read anything that is written on the bottom of it. Nothing is written on the bottom of this one after the aloha one. This one, nothing is written on it, but I'm looking, and I can see the nose, or the nose of the plane, where the cockpit is, and then there's nothing. It was a completely blue sky, not a cloud in the sky, and there was nothing. It was just blue sky, and then the wing. I'll throw up a Photoshop of what I did so you get a sense of what I was looking at. And I'm like, I got to kind of blink and like, I can't believe what I'm seeing. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking like, is that painted blue to the sky of the blue so it's camouflage? I'm like, no, I'm literally seeing right through it. There's nothing there. And it's just so bizarre. And I'm trying to understand what I'm saying. It's just, I can't make sense of it. I'm not like, see, these aren't planes, I'm thinking to myself. It's got to be some type of holographic projection, which I at this point, I understand that. That'll maybe another future video I'll do. I completely understand not how, but the process of what is projecting these holograms. I understand that part. So it's just bizarre. And so whatever, And so then it was, I think the next day, I'm out and I'm looking up again. Here comes another one. And it's the exact same type of plane as the Aloha. It's white, but with a blue body. And this is Delta. Just like Delta planes. Delta planes, this is a Delta plane. It looks just like a Delta plane. As you can see right there, it's a Delta plane. So I'm like, okay, it's right. And again, remember, these are all directly above my head. I mean, I'm looking at them straight up, flying directly over my head. So I'm thinking, and how often does that happen to you? That you can read the bottom of it, right? This has happened to me constantly over and over and over again. So I'm like, I was like, Delta, okay. I'm like, Delta. So I'm like, starting to think about this. And I'm thinking about the Aloha that I had seen the other day. I'm like, maybe I read it wrong and that was really a Delta plane or something. And it didn't say Aloha, but I know it said Aloha. But I'm starting to rethink myself because I'm always trying to question things and get into the reality of the situation. So then I'm like, nah, I think this, I mean, I know it's Aloha. There's some message with the Delta too. So then I do a little bit of research on Delta, which you can look up Delta on Wikipedia yourself and see all the different ways and different definitions of Delta there is. Two of the more definitions of Delta that integrate with the message that I think they were trying to send me is one, Delta waves, Delta brain waves, as well as a Delta meaning a change between two different states. And I think that is another relevant message that they were trying to send to me. I won't go into detail. You can look up Delta yourself because there's much more you can learn about Delta and the meaning and the way it may integrate with this whole story. So, okay, Delta, I'm like, as I'm doing the research, I'm like, Delta, I'm like, all right, so now I'm starting to think, okay, yeah, so I can see, so what about Aloha? The Aloha happened. I get the Delta, now the Aloha. Maybe I should do some research. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe there's an Aloha Airlines. It says Aloha on the bottom. I look up, and sure enough, look up Aloha Airlines, and there is an Aloha Airlines, but I can find no planes that are blue, have a blue body, and say Aloha on the bottom. There was nothing that I could find like that. But the first news article that comes up regarding Aloha Airlines blew me away. It's about a plane that got peeled back. The whole plane got ripped apart just behind the cockpit, and it was blown off. And these people are, this is a passenger plane, so there's passengers in there. Well, the stewardess got blown right out of the plane. It's flying in the air. The whole top of the plane, right behind the cockpit, blew off. The stewardess flies out, and the pilot made an emergency landing, and he succeeded in saving the passengers. They only lost one stewardess who got blown out right away. Wow, what a story. And then I went, oh my God. And they had the picture of the plane. I'm like, that plane that I saw with it was just sky behind the cockpit. That's the message you're sending. And it's not, I don't think they're sending a message that there's a plane that's going to blow up or anything. I think they're trying to send a message of synchronicity, not only of aloha and it being force and peace and compassion, all that, but also maybe even a UFO saved these people. I don't know. But it was just fascinating. Oh my God. What are the chances that I would see a drone, UFO, whatever you want to call it, flying with no piece of it like that behind the cockpit, and then I find an article that talks about a plane, Aloha Airlines, that got that portion of the plane destroyed. I was like, whoa. So now here's where it gets back to Dick Algar, because he's from Hawaii, and he used to be a news anchor. I wonder if he covered this story. I'm certain he did, and there may be some synchronicity in it for him as well. But what I'm going to do at this point is I'm just going to throw up that news article so that you can read it yourself. I don't want to go into depth on the further synchronicity that is in the news article. That's very personal to me, but that blew my mind again. I'm like, first the Aloha, then the plane up in the sky where I could see right through the one portion, and then Delta, and then reading this news article. It was very personal to me reading this news article. Anybody who's my family or has known me for most of my life, by reading this news article, as soon as they read it, they're like, oh, wow, that is weird. Yeah, I'm not going to share it because it involves other people, And I don't want to bring other people into this story unless they want to be in it. But again, I will post that article here at the end of this video so you can read it yourself. And I strongly suspect that there'll be a little bit in here for Dick Allgaier too for him to read, but I just for him to synchronize with or synchronicity. But I don't know that for a fact. I'll let him make that determination. But it was just quite the fascinating set of circumstances. And to me, it's just one of many, 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 many examples of why these things are not real planes. Just blew my mind. So, again, wait for that article. It's coming up right now. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And who knows, maybe I'll have another video for you soon.